It doesn't matter how little it is, baby steps. If you keep making progress, you're gonna get where you really wanna go. It sounds impossible because some of the things in my life today, if you would have told me way back then they'd be possible, I wouldn't have thought so. And so I've had this blessed life. I've done my part, but it's still been blessed. But it's because I chose to keep moving forward. And that's really what I want to encourage you to do more than anything else. If you keep moving forward, no matter how many mistakes you make, and I've made so many, you're going to get there. But the most amazing thing now, and the thing that Dean and I were so excited about, is by combining our knowledge, we're able to jumpstart people and save them a decade or two. But in addition, we live in a different world than when he and I started. You know, I'm old enough to remember trying to send out mailers and making brochures, and all that stuff was so expensive and not very effective. I think I shared with you, if you came to the challenge, that, my very first seminar I did for free, and it was in LA, and I rented this big hotel room in the LA Hilton, and I thought 500 people are going to show up, and 7 people showed up. They're all sitting in different parts of the room, but today you don't have to do that. You don't have to take on the room. You don't have to run all those brochures, because of everything from social media to email to Zoom, it's a different universe. You can do things with a lot less risk, and you can learn more rapidly than he and I did. And now with AI, that kind of knowledge at your fingertips in a moment means that there really is no way you can fail if you keep moving forward. But the problem is, most of us, we don't want to begin unless we know everything. We don't know until we got it perfect. I have that same kind of feeling inside me, but early on I realized that perfection was the lowest standard on earth. Nothing's ever perfect. You and I both know it. So if you're waiting for it to perfect, it just makes you procrastinate. It makes you put it off. And then you start losing, belief in yourself because you haven't followed through. I want you to know, in the very beginning, I was beating myself up all the time because I'd take all my money, and I realized I got to invest in me. If I can't pay my rent, one of my friends was saying, you got to go on these seminars. Like, seminar? What the hell's that? Well, someone's going to take 20 years of their life and teach you in 3 or 4 hours the most important things they've learned. Save you a decade or two. It's like, well, how much is it? That was my mindset in those days, right? Because I was making $40 a week as a janitor. It'd be like $250 today in current dollars a week. It's like, it's going to cost as much. The seminar is $35, almost a week's pay? There's no way. But fortunately, something inside me said, if I keep moving forward, if I just keep putting myself in the environment, it's going to stick. And it did. Every mistake you make, if you learn from it, you get stronger and stronger, smarter and smarter, until you find that tipping point. Hilton, Hilton Hotels, they have 1.2 million rooms. They're 105 years old. They're worth $53 billion. And here's little Joe Gebbia's company. 8 years, didn't make a dime, and then finally kicked it over the edge. 7.7 million rooms, which they don't pay for. They don't have any infrastructure. They have no overhead. The company's only 16 years old, and it's worth $85 billion. So I tell you about, not to brag or not to point it out to you, but because it blows me away, because I know the power of just continually move forward. It's like, you think that seems so huge. And by the way, I really want to encourage you, if you heard nothing from me, it's as simplistic as this is it's every day making some progress. Progress is everything. If you just take steps forward, even if it doesn't look like progress, every day you're going to learn something. That's all you got to do. You got to say, okay, I'm going to take this program and I'm going to do, one a day, one of these audios a day, one of the videos a day, or I'm going to do 3 a week, or I'm going to do a weekend where I'm going to do 6 hours a day. You got to lay down a schedule that's just consistent. And I promise you, if you keep immersing yourself, you're going to get the experience you want. I'll give you one more example. I think I mentioned during the challenge this guy named Mel Fisher. You may not remember him because it was in the 1980s, and he was 85. This guy had this vision that he was going to find this wreck, this Spanish galleon that was supposedly filled with gold that crashed in 1622. And he went out looking for this thing, and he got people to give him money to go do this, to buy the boats and hire the people. And after a year of working his guts out, nothing. 2 years, nothing. 5 years, nothing. He had to raise more money with no evidence he was succeeding. He did this for 16 years. 16 years. Can you imagine 16 years getting no result? But he just promised himself, every time I'm going up there, I'm getting closer to the target. And he found $500 million in gold. Now, you can't live on it, but it's a good start. Get you going in the morning, right? $500 million, right? But here's what's really interesting, because I mentioned this issue during the challenge. I want to add something. If you're going to get results in your life, actions come from feelings or emotions. You got to have a certain emotional drive, a passion, something. But your emotions come from a belief. What would you have to believe to keep going for 16 years with zero positive feedback and say, I'm going to get up tomorrow and do it again? But years ago, when my business was not delivering, I was working my guts out and wasn't making any money out of it. I was loving what I was doing, but I was like, how am I ever going to make this work? I didn't make it good work. And a friend of mine said, you need to focus differently. You need to let go of it. You need to reinvent how you're doing this. And he said, and the biggest problem is you think this is never going to work at the highest level. And so when I saw this guy, Mel Fisher, I thought to myself, what would I have to believe? He'd have to believe, number one, that the gold is out there, that the treasure is out there. You have to believe that this little business that's nothing right now, this idea in your head, that it's a treasure box that's out there. It's going to provide you what you really want. Now, if you believe it's out there, that's good, but that's not enough to keep going for 16 years. What else would you have to believe? Well, not only it's out there, but I will find it. I'll find the way. I'll keep persisting until. But even that, you need one more belief. It's worth it. It's worth the energy. It's worth the freedom I'll be able to have. It'll be worth it for my family. It'll be worth it because I'll own my own time. It'll be worth it for the economic. It'll be worth all those things. If you have those three beliefs, you can succeed in this business. But you're going to have to push through the thing that everybody has, which is fear. We call it uncertainty. We call it being uncomfortable. The biggest mistake you can make is thinking you're not ready. When I don't know what to do is when I know what to do. That's my core belief. If you put yourself on the line and you push yourself each day, you don't know what you're doing, but you're going to do it anyway, you're going to learn. What does it take to get good at this? Whenever you learn something new, in fact, what we're doing together is you start going through the course, you go through this weekend, you start getting started. When you start out, you don't know much, right? So you're way down here. And if you really apply yourself and you focus this weekend and you start the 7 weeks and you start doing each step, you're going to feel yourself going from, I don't know what to do, to, hey, I know what my irresistible product is. I know who my ideal customer is. Oh my God, this is amazing. And then you're going to go out and go, boom, like this. Well, in most places, we call it a plateau. If you're not sure, you'll start to drop a little bit. You may drop all the way to here. And when people do that, they go, oh my God, I didn't apply it. And this is what I used to do to myself. I go to training, I'd learn something, I grow like crazy. I was all excited. I go home, I apply some of it, but not enough in my mind. But I've only just gotten started. And then, oh yeah, well, I'm not doing as well, and I lose a little momentum. But notice something, I'm higher than I was when I started, even after I've dropped. That approach is what happens. So now what most people do is they go, oh, well, I failed, I'm not going here. No, think of it this way. If you grow like this, and you grow and you hit a plateau, what you want to do when it drops down is retrain yourself. And you'll grow again and hit a plateau and drop down. But the second time you drop down, you're higher than you were after the first one. This is the process. Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. And we gotta have a good time. So why stress about the natural part of growing? And so they go, oh, I've grown, I've dropped a little bit, but I'm still better than I was. Okay, who has done this before me? Who has already got the next level result? Who could save me years or a decade or two? Anticipation is the ultimate power. If you're gonna be a leader, you need to anticipate. But it's hard to anticipate when you haven't done anything before, which is why in my lifetime, I'm only here in front of you because I was able to go and invest in myself and get around the best in the world at things and figure out what they did different than me. And I saved myself decades of trial and error, and that's what we're here to do for you too. If you're a dabbler, get out of here. If you're a stressor, you're gonna stress out of your mind. But if you're now a master, the path of mastery is you go, I'm learning, this is good. This is really good. It doesn't feel good. But what do? Here's the key, repetition, repetition, repetition. And your breakthrough goes like this. And then after a while, who knows what happens? Boink. You're still at a plateau. You don't stress out, you go, wow, look how much progress. This is awesome. I'm making progress, I'm gonna get there. This is so cool, to be expected. Okay, what's next? What's the next level? Who's been there? Show me what it is. Let me practice it. I'll get a little worse, and then boom, I'll explode up.